Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Agora Singapore Speakers Club. Tonight, we are having our first preparation meeting to prepare for the global speech contest to be held in August. There are 4 contests, and the first contestant tonight in this preparation run is Angela Lansbury. Angela, are you ready?
Yes, I am.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, what is the color of my backdrop?
Green.
What is the color?
Yellow.
And?
Red.
Okay, very good. Which speech do you want to start?
Social awareness.
Social awareness. That's a 5 to 7 minutes, right? So if you see the green backdrop, that means it's 5 minutes has passed. Okay, and then 6 is a yellow. Red is 7 minutes. And after that, you have 30 seconds to conclude your speech. Ready? First contestant, Angela Lansbury, the queen of recycling. The queen of recycling, Angela Lansbury. Yeah!
Hello. I would like to recycle everything. I would like to recycle my teeth. I'm holding on to them. I keep my spare teeth in little plastic jars in case I ever get a chance to put them back in. But that's not really what I recycle. But as you can see, I'm a hoarder. And things just clutter up the place unless you reuse them. Now, let me tell you about some of the things you can do in your life to reuse things, because Singapore is now creating islands full of recycled material, and the whole world has got huge mounds and valleys of recycled stuff. And I'm really shocked to see that over in Africa, they are given unwanted clothes, and some of them are resold, but a lot of them are just chucked away. What a terrible waste, because after all, I could reuse all of them. What? All of them? I'm the queen of recycling. I recycle clothes. If you go on my blog, Dress of the Day with Angela, you'll see that I have over 500 posts, and that's only some of the clothes that I have. How many do you have? You're obviously not recycling enough, are you? You have to learn from me. Now, what can you do to recycle? I recycle everything. My husband throws out a shirt. My goodness, that's ridiculous. Why has he thrown it out? Because the collar's gone funny and the cuffs are not right. Well, then cut off the cuffs and cut off the collar. And most collars, you know, if you turn them up and down, you can turn them into mandarin collars, can't you? Or you could cut off the collar altogether. And then you can cut off the cuffs and have hanging sleeves. Or you could do what my mother used to do in the old days post World War II, when you had a sheet with holes in it, you cut it up and you made little squares, which were either handkerchiefs, which you re-washed. You didn't have Kleenex tissues in those days. And if you had a hole in the middle of a sheet, you cut it down the middle and turn it in so that you got firm bits down the middle and the holy bits tucked underneath at the side. What else do I do? I've got, talking of bedding, let's talk about bedding. Have you got in your house some pillowcases which you're not using? Perhaps they are going a bit yellow, or they're pulling apart. Yes. Well, I've made a blouse out of a pillowcase. You just sort of cut the hole at the top and you cut a hole at the top, and then you have a blouse. And actually mine, I was going to cut it into a shape, and then I thought, haven't got time for that. So I just put it on, and I've got a sort of sharp top. And then what do you do around the middle? Well, this is pretty easy. I do this all the time. Got to make something smaller. This is a huge kaftan, which goes back to my olden days when I was a big plump lady, but now I'm trying to look smaller. So if you've got a hole anywhere, or you can make a hole in the side, run a belt through it, tie it up, piece of ribbon, get it from Daiso very cheaply. You get 5 of them for $4 nowadays. It used to be 2, but now it's 4. And then you've got a ribbon to make a tighter dress. And if the dress is too long, you pull it up like that. And if it's too short, you cut a bit off the bottom, put a band in it, and make it longer. What else can you do? Ties. What can you do with a tie? Got any old ties you never wear nowadays? I mean, who wears ties nowadays? Well, you can make a bandana, can't you? You can make something to go around your wrist. You can take one of those little clutch bags that, you know, what can you do with a clutch bag? Where are you going to put it? Put it on a tie, and then you've got a shoulder bag. What else can you do? Do you ever break things? This used to be by my bedside table. I've knocked it over 3 times. I reached up to pull the curtains, and damn, the thing falls on the floor and it's broken. Every one of these gold lines is where this beautiful item broke. My husband stuck it all together, and I followed a Japanese system, which I can't name because I can't pronounce it. And I just take a gold felt tip pen or a glitter pen. Now, the gold tip pen just paints it, so it looks like it's meant to be like that. And if you've got a hole, you fill it in with the glitter so you don't catch your fingers on it. And again, it looks like it's meant to be like that, and it's better than the original. So I recommend you do that with anything you grade, just stick it back together. Now, I went to a community centre, and they had a whole panel made out of bottle tops. I've been keeping bottle tops since then, and I'm going to make the simplest thing is just a rainbow of bottle tops to save the bottle tops going into landfill. What else can you do? Oh, do you remember the days when you turned bottles into lampshades? What happened to those? I don't know, but you could still do it if you were so inclined. I was on holiday once and I had to give a speech, and I didn't have any memory cards. Now you can buy memory cards. This is what they look like when you pay good money. Well, not that much money, only $2 or $3. You get them like this. They're actually sold to you so that children doing exams can make notes and practice and there's scientific formulae and things like that. But I used to use them for speeches. And then I was on holiday in a hotel and I was asked to give a speech. How am I going to practice with my little cue cards? Very simple. All of these are unwanted cards, either my old cards when I changed my address, or cards from tradespeople who I no longer go to, or hotels and restaurants have gone out of business. On the back, they're absolutely plain. You punch a hole in them there and put a thread through, and you've got a set of cards like this for your speeches. And if you give a speech once a day, like I do, then you've got a lot of these sets of cards. So that's pretty easy. What can you do with all these Kleenex boxes? I've got loads of these. I use them, I cut the ends out, and I store shoes in them. Then I can have my shoes all neatly laid out. People throw away children's clothes. What can you do with children's clothes? One of my neighbours threw away her load of clothes. Here's a little kid's dress. Much too cute to throw away. Well, what have I done with it? I use it to make what is known technically as a dickie. Here I am in my dickie. Now, I'm going to read off my cue cards and wear my homemade dickie. Please be inspired. Recycle. Any tips you need, call me. I'm the queen of recycling.
Thank you, Angela, Queen of Recycling. Time taken, 7 minutes, 40 seconds. Okay, so the next time you draft your speech and you rehearse, try to check the timing. Because if this were a contest, you will not be ranked, you'll be disqualified. So first rule of any contest is to speak within the time allowed. That's my first observation. There's a guide. There's a guide. If you check, if you could write up the script of your speech, and then you just check how many words. If it's anywhere more than 650 words, you may run into trouble with time. So try to keep it within, say 650 words. So there's a little bit of editing required to cut it down and to be precise. So these are two feedback. I will let the rest of our friends here to share some feedback. Maybe Brian can share some ideas.
Yeah, sure. Angela, I thought that was very interesting that you have a speech to demonstrate what you can recycle and what kinds of beautiful things and arts and everyday objects you could make out of recycling. I thought that's ultimately fascinating. And I think this is very interesting the way you presented it. You actually have products and you're showing them on the screen. And I thought that's effective because if you only talk about recycling without actually showing what you have recycled and what you could do to those items, then that won't be that good. And you definitely have shown us a few really interesting things, especially the red browse that you spend a lot of time on it. And it's good to have something like that to actually show. I think my comments are mostly on the technical side of it because there are quite a few I would say loose ends you may have to tie up to make this a little better. But these are mostly technical issues. For example, that you didn't maintain eye contact most of the time because I don't know if you're looking into the screen or you're looking at the camera, something to watch out for. And also there are reflections of some lighting source on your glass. So a lot of time, one of your eyes are kind of blurred and it create a kind of a funny look on your face, which may not be that good. Because if you want eye contact, you need both eyes rather than just one eye and the other eye was covered with reflections. And also the camera angle could be a little lower because right now you'll kind of look up a little bit. So yeah, definitely position those things and also use your background or backdrop because you do have the green screen, but you're not using it and you have other things in there that you may have to tie it up. And the other thing is the timing. I think it's a little over, and of course that you may have to think of a stronger conclusion. I love that Queen of Recycling title for you. I thought that's very catchy and in fact you have showed us that, but you need a few more seconds to actually give us give us the whole conclusion and and of course you can bring out the Queen of Recycling, but you haven't done any of that when the red card came up, so that's why you were a little over time. So you may have to think of the beginning and the ending. How could you start and end? Because I love that idea of the Queen of Recycling. At the same time, you need to tell us a little more, or you can make a conclusion and say, hey, we have shown you this and that. You can turn art objects, you can turn everyday object, you can do a lot of things with recycle, and I have done that and things like that. And but you ask people to call you and they may not have your number either. So these are the things you could watch out for. And at the beginning, you could kind of have a little suspense. You tell people, look, I'm going to talk about recycling. A lot of people recycle. They recycle plastic, recycle TV, recycle things. But guess what? I recycle. I recycle my teeth. That will be something that That will definitely catch people's attention rather than just starting with I recycle my teeth, because that's a little too straight and direct, and you're not actually using the power of suspense. Yeah, I love the idea, just that your speech need a lot of work to make it really effective and powerful. And I wouldn't change the structure, but I would like to see you refine it at the beginning and the end. And especially, and then in the middle, even in the middle, when you're showing the blouse, I would suggest you actually back off. And at one point, you could show your whole blouse rather than you have the blouse cover the screen without seeing your head, because you basically talk for like the whole minute without actually people seeing your head, because we all we see was the blouse. So you may have to think about that. Yeah, because if you're talking, we want to see your face. So you may have to think of it, maybe back up a few steps so we can see your whole upper body with the blouse, and you can do your demonstration. And when you have to zoom in, you could actually step forward and closer to the camera. So I think these are all the things you could think of. But I thought you have original ideas. I love the way you present, and it's fantastic. I wish we can tie up the few loose ends, and this will be a wonderful speech. Thank you, Angela.
Thank you. That was very helpful.
Yeah, thank you, Brian. I'm learning along with Angela. I think the technical steps to improve on your first cut, I think they are really, really useful. And always remember, you don't have to have a perfect speech to start. Yeah, it's always editing and editing until the speech contest day. Then you get very good. In fact, Brian told me when he was contesting, he spent a lot of time doing what you're doing at different clubs in front of different audience, and then get feedback, and then to redraft the speech again and to practice and over and over. So it's a very interesting journey. Edmund, is there anything you want to share with Angela? You're muted. You need to unmute. You need to unmute. No.
Can you
Okay.
hear me?
Yes.
Angela, your background of your current green and all is very distorted. You should maybe put a picture or back, just like bumping the Agora, or maybe like myself, put a Los Angeles beach, so that your face should stand out. Otherwise, when you speak, and then it might affect your virtual what do you call it, the virtual presentation.
Your backdrop,
So,
Your
backdrop is very important. And then you got to, maybe your hair, you got to gel up a bit, make it nice and make it straight. I'm a visual guy, so presentation is very important. Overall, it's good talking about recycling. Recycling is actually one of the best things in Singapore. Actually, there's a lot of opportunity for recycling, for things to be done, and we can highlight a lot of this. In Singapore, we are on the verge of using recycling to create climate change. So excellent example, and excellent thing. It's just like what you say, we are rehearsing now. Maybe we have to draft out in key points, just like what I do. I draft in key points, or I do a mind map and then put on the paper. Then when you speak, just key point, and then naturally you just present. This is what I normally do. So I don't want to script, because I script and then it become a reading. You paraphrase it, then it's not nice. You are good because you are English original. So your English accent, the information is very British. Great. I am a Singaporean. My dad used to work for British. I work for Wofford Meadows. I try to learn the way British grammar, but sometimes mispronunciation, and I always one missing tooth. The vowel always run away. So I got to learn from you. I want to hear sound. So I'm very particular, because Singapore English is actually British. So I want to speak it good, but not to the kind of British accent so that people might not understand. But overall, Angela, you look sweet tonight. Only thing the red chair is the hair is nice, but the green drop and those things behind disturb a bit of my eyes. That's all. That's all.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Edmund. I think the backdrop, you can consider a virtual backdrop like mine.
Yeah.
Then it will not distract Edmund so much. Now,
Give you some response to that.
yes, yes.
I've tried using the virtual backdrop, but people say when I do that, when I move, if you see what happens when I move my hand now, when I've got a virtual backdrop, my props start to go fuzzy.
You
So
see that I'm moving. You see that? You watch me? I'm moving. It's your camera, front, back. You need to pose. You see, now I'm very near the camera, my hand. You see, if I see behind, fall back. You see that?
So are you saying I should go backwards and forwards rather than side to side?
Because your camera is too near. You should lay back a bit. You see? So it's very clear. So that then you move your hands a bit. You see that? You can see. You can see.
So you're saying that too close to the camera, things are out of focus.
Yeah.
So I
Because
can
when you put too near,
backdrop.
you see, my hands is very clear for my handphone. But when you put your hand, maybe your camera is moldy, so I can see the hand is not very clear. You try the few. You can try the few.
Thank you for that. That's very helpful.
Okay, Angela, now I want to focus on the exam smartness, how to score points. We have 10 points for the judges to decide how real and how accurate you have described the problem. So what is the problem that you are dealing with, and how real is this problem? Right? I know you're dealing with recycling, but really, what is the problem you want to solve? You got to make it very clear. Otherwise, the judges would not know how to allocate these 10 marks to you. Right? So don't let them assume.
How many sentences do I need to allocate to saying that recycling is important? I had a sentence about clothes and how they were given away and they just piled up and weren't even reused in Africa.
No, those are important facts. You jump one step ahead. I need you to go back one step and say, ask yourself, so what is the problem you are addressing?
You're throwing away too much.
Okay, so throwing away too much is a problem, right? It's a real problem. And how would recycling solve the problem?
Also, the governments are trying to make us use less and less in the recycling bins. They're trying to make bins smaller and smaller. So we've got to be thinking, even if we couldn't care less, we're being forced to do it. So we have to do it.
Okay.
So we do it because we think it's good, and we do it because we are forced to do it.
Okay, I try to define the problem differently now. Okay, because the problem appear to be, when you describe it to me, appear to be people are buying things excessively, things that they should not be spending money buying, for example. Right? So if they stop buying, how to make them stop buying is they don't need to buy. They can just recycle.
Yeah, but then all the shops will close down and all the shop assistants will be out of work.
Yeah.
And
Well, they got to buy
all the
mindfully.
countries whose economy depends on producing things, they've got no income. That's a very nice idea.
Yeah. So if you argue that way, Angela, then what problem does recycling solve?
It solves the problem that we are throwing things out and we're running out of space to put things. Also, we're polluting everywhere.
Okay. Okay, let's move on. Second, you got 10 marks for language. Right. I felt I enjoy your language use. I think in terms of the richness, the expressiveness, and the vividness of how you describe things. So I think you just be mindful. Eventually, you try to score 10 out of 10 for that language, for example. So when you craft your speech, the wording, you got to think of that one, yeah?
Yes, I need some similes and metaphors and
Yeah. Then the third 10 marks is for use of props and visual aids. I think that one you have a lot of props and visual aids. Okay, and they are used effectively to demonstrate, to show what you really mean. So the 10 marks, I think you are quite close to scoring very high. Then it's a quality of your vocal narration quality. Okay, another 10 marks. I shall not go through the whole lot of them, Angela. You need to run through as you redraft your speech the second time. You got to ask yourself, how am I going to score these 10 marks for actionability, for persuasiveness, for whatever? So there's a checklist. I want you to run through them. Okay. Now we move on to the second speaker. Edmund, are you ready?
Yes, I will talk about the education.
Okay. You know
Sector.
how much time is for the education?
8 minutes is
8, 9,
green.
10. Yeah?
9, 10. So
Can you see my screen, Edmund?
No.
So I cannot help you with my timing. Can you time yourself then?
Okay, wait, 8 minutes. Total is 8, 9, 10, 10 minutes. Okay,
You
roughly.
Okay.
Yeah.
You introduce yourself. I mean, introduce your topic, and then when you're ready, you say, "I am ready. I start now," or something like that. Then we know. Okay. Introducing
Right.
Edmund Chiu from Singapore. Yeah.
Journey forward 2023. I'm ready. Quote, one life, this life. One life, time journey. One life, journey forward 2023. Hi, my name is Edmund. I'm an OD, OLDIES in old folks. I've been in logistics business since the last 30 over years. I know life is not about just business or money. I have been also a Rotarian for the past 25 years. Right now, I want to really share with you the journey that I walked in 3 sectors. The past is already gone. 1 year old to 7 years old, I was a young lad. I was gung-ho. Those days, Republic of Singapore wasn't even formed. We were still under Malayan States of Malaysia. Remember, a young lad like me, 8'7", dare to hop on a Malaysian bus lorry to and fro and run all the way to Genting and come back every Saturday, Sunday. How gung-ho I am. How daring I was. So that was where I learned survival, aggressiveness, and assertiveness. That was how I learned myself to be positive in a way, to get things done. After 8'7" to 21, I was a schoolboy. I flunked English and Chinese. These were the 2 main subjects. I even flunked maths and science, but I scored well in history, art, and geography. How did I wonder? I can't even understand. So I end up not in college or polytechnic. I end up in the vocational institute, where today they call it the ITE. It's the end. But however, how tough, we are the people we call heads on, hearts on, and hands on. We change our mindset. So today I'm going to share with you again the presence from 7 to 30 was called apprenticeship time, just like learning, unlearning, and relearning. For my arts graduation courses, I end up to be a graphic design board, exhibition designer, card designer. In those days, the market had no demand for such services. So I changed. Then came the opportunity, 1985-86, where the whole paradigm shift of our little red dot. From Paya Lebar Airport, our country moved the airport to Changi. Terminal 1 and Terminal 2 was evolved. And that's where I start my second phase of career, till the present. And those days, the PSA port also changed and grew into a big port till today. So my second journey of life, age 21 to 30, was a lot of learning and make a lot of mistakes. But each mistake I made, I never lament. I tell myself, because my mother always say, son, the father of success is failure. Those days, people will say you are failed, but I pick up the courage to learn. So that's why whenever people say negative things, it never goes deep in my heart or ear, because I know how to filter. So as time goes by, I tell myself, say, I have to start a subsidiary, my family. So in business, Chinese say, 成家立业. When you have a family, you manage your family well. That is the first company. So I started my family. And then I have 2 boys and 1 girl. And then from there on, I tell myself, the next step, this will become the holding company. I'm going to start the rail company. So I started the game. We venture with people to form a JV company. As time goes by, I learned the human factor again. We see the other side of human being, the good, the bad, the ugly. But nevertheless, this teaches me a lot of things. So I learned NLP, I learned coaching, and I volunteer as a prison counselor. I learned through myself, participation, volunteering in Rotary, in CC, and everything. From there, I learned. As I work, I learn, I contribute. I learned about humanity. That's why I'm able to went through so many storms, even the 9/11, even the oil crisis, or whatever. Because at the end of the day, it is not others, it is us. How you go through the journey of life, how you make forward better. So right now, this is my future plan, which is I'm already 67, I'm going to retire. Imagine 38 years of same thing, in and out, in and out. My goodness. So now I'm going to change. So I'm going to change to be much better. So I have learned how to retire. RETYRE. Just like a tire. You circulate. How to retread. How to adjust. How to motivate myself every day without fail. Ever since COVID, I very disciplined. 5 a.m. to 6, I wake up. No matter how the body clocks, ting, and then my eyes open. Then I'll do a 5-minute, 10-minute exercise, meditation, yoga. By the time I complete 1 hour, if there's a sunshine, no rain, I go for 1 hour walk, or I bicycle. I cycle. I do a BMW. I bike, I manage, and I walk. So the other thing is very important is actually to sleep well. I sleep early. If I have no Angola meeting like tonight, 8:30, bingo, off phone, sleep. And before I sleep, I do the control, delete kind of stuff. Very important, just like our mind. I ask myself, what are the 3 things that I better on? Meaning to say, if I done today good things, I use this right hand, I look at my left side, I pat myself, well done. Well done. But if the 3 things that I need to improve, I'll tell myself, never mind, I have solace. So indirectly, mentally, I clear myself so that I don't want to have baggages, conscious baggages when I go to sleep. I always sleep easy, had good dreams, no issue at all. And the only thing that if I had a bad dream is I had a hard day. But nevertheless, the years of changes, the years of wave, even COVID, whatever, I'm always a happy man. So I always dare to try different things. So each morning, when I get out of the house, I will do three basic things. If I see a stranger in the lift, I will just say, hi, good morning, smile. If you don't smile, I will think of a way how to make him smile so that I can give him affection, happiness. Happiness is one of the best joy in life. Then I will motivate him. And if he looks so grumpy, I will ask him, I'll teach a joke or I'll do something for him to make him laugh. Then when I go to my car, I go to the hawker center. If I see any of these old folks that don't smile, I will tickle them and make their bones and they smile. Because every day I do that, three different people. Even I cycle, hi, good morning, some guys. Then I say, I think there's a fly on the head. Oh. And they smile, just kidding you. So it's just like when we make others laugh, the good vibration of energy falls into others. The current world right now need to have positive energy. Why? Because most of us are dumb and gloom and they become fearful. No, you must encourage more Agora members to come. We're going to have Agora humorous speeches in a very different way. I will share with you some of the experiences. So last but not least, remember, we only have one life. I give you maths calculation number. 1 day, 24 hours. 1 year, 365 days and 52 weeks. One lifetime, I'm 67. If I pass 69, I'll be 70. 70 years times 365, 25,000 days. Multiplied by 24 hours, 612. No, 25,000 days times 24 hours, 612, 200 hours. How much time do we have minus your 8 hours of sleep? Life is very, very short. So make good use of it. Make full use of what you have. Time and tide wait for no man. Like I say, journey forward. One life, this life, one lifetime journey, and one life journey forward 2023. Back to you.
Edmund, I like your message very much. I like the way you calculate how much time we have and what difference we want to make. And I think this is coming from somebody who grown up in the tough neighborhood where you got to fight for yourself, where you are not among the clever students who do very well in school and get scholarship and get high position and high paying jobs. So you've been through the difficult journey in life. That's where your wisdom and your belief is so strong. So thank you very much, Edmund. I really enjoy your speech.
Things for improvement.
Yeah, things for improvement. We'll learn from the masters. Maybe Angela start first before we get the master Brian to share.
Hello, I loved your speech. I liked what we just heard from Ban Peng. I think you could start with, first of all, I'm not quite sure what the message is. What was the title?
Journey forward.
I found that a bit abstract. I wasn't quite sure whether you were taking a journey or whether it was an instruction. I got lost. I didn't know where we were going.
Maybe give me a better title.
What was it your mother said?
Failure is the mother of success.
Right, that's what I would like as your title.
Okay.
The mother of your, how about just the mother of your success?
Okay.
And it would start something like, I had a tough life, but a wonderful mother. And my mother was the mother of my success. When I failed, she said, blah, blah, blah. Well, I had a tough start, blah, 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 blah. And then cut down as far as you can anything which doesn't have a story attached to it. Because I'm not really interested that you worked here and you worked there. As far as I'm concerned, the most interesting bit is in 19 whatever it was, I'd had 3 other jobs. I'd been to Polytechnic and not done very much in life, and then I got my big break. I worked on Changi Airport, the airport you must have been through a dozen times in your life, the best airport in the world, and I was invited to work on it. That's exciting. That involves me, but I'd like to know what you did. I mean, did you create an escalator or something, or draw the plan? I'd like to know that you'd actually done something that mattered, even if all you did was sit and look at it and think,
Oh yeah, I brought in the biggest ever one Christmas tree, 70 feet. Nobody has ever done that. Year
the biggest
2000.
Christmas tree, right?
Yes, alive. And nobody expect that. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Tell this story about the Christmas tree.
Yes.
And you tie that in with you make people wanting to make people smile.
Okay.
Everyone who came into Changi Airport that Christmas was astonished, and they smiled. And I told all my friends, go to Changi Airport and see the Christmas tree. Why see the Christmas tree? It's the biggest Christmas tree you'll ever see. So make that it. And then I love your story about making people smile. I was waiting to hear how you make someone in the lift smile. I like your story about the lady and the fly. You must have 3 of those stories of things you can say that make people smile. That's what I would like to hear. And I'm not quite sure what Rotary does, or being a prison counsellor, well, that just makes me think, yeah, what do you do? How did you help anybody? Was there a prisoner who said, I've turned my life around because of what you said, or nobody visits me, but you come and visit me? What's the story of how you changed someone's life?
Okay.
Okay, I think that's probably enough.
Thank you, Angela. Thank
Wow,
you
good. You give me more input now. Now I know how to create the content and the story. Excellent. Thank you.
Edmund, you took
Yes.
10 minutes, 10 seconds, so it's perfect timing. Perfect timing.
Yeah.
So when you edit, remember to keep within that time as well.
Yeah. Okay.
Now let's invite Brian to share his observations.
Yeah, Edmund, I thought the speech was very good, that you have covered most of your career highlights, and then show the audience that you are a man that you could deal with any kind of hardship and the failures. Yeah, I think in some way that a lot of your failure, you kind of just in 2 sentences that you briefly go over, and then, for example, you were like, okay, I lost your job and then now I'm working at the airport. So what exactly is the lesson? What make you come back? What is your drive? Because you mentioned a lot of things. You basically put your whole life into this speech in 5 to 7 minutes. So a lot of things you have talked about, you only talk about it briefly. For example, you said you were a counselor, you're a coach, you're an NLP practitioner. But what does that mean? What does that help you to make art? Because some people may not be familiar with these terms. What exactly is a counselor do? Most of us know counselor do something, but how about you? What did you do with that? So these are the things, because I think you have so many stories you try to squeeze in that 5 to 7. Yeah, you may want to focus in on 1 or 2 or 3 of the most important thing, the lesson learn from there. Because if you said the failure is the mother of success, and then you didn't actually mention that much about the failure itself, you only showed us the success story, and it may not have enough emotional impact for the audience of how serious that problem is and how much time and effort and skills and things that you have in order to come out of it. That's why I thought that you may wanted to just focus on one story that has the most impact. Otherwise, I thought your whole speech is in there, but in that 5 to 7 minutes, you talk about your whole life. That's probably 25 speeches there. So you narrow it down a little bit.
I'm more of a disorganized for the content. So now you give me the framework. I was just gel into the 3 stories and one of the reason why and this and that. Thank you very much. It was very good. Good evaluation. Appreciate it. Any other things besides these voice, eye contact or things or visual?
I think
Yes, you're looking that way.
No, because maybe the camera. The camera. So I got
must-
to adjust it again. Yeah.
You must look
camera.
into the camera, Edmund. Look into the
Yeah.
camera.
Okay.
You're
Okay.
looking
Because the
somewhere
camera.
else.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Got you. Okay. Point taken. Look into the camera.
yeah, sometimes it's a trap because you think that you're looking at a camera, but you're not because you're
Yeah.
looking at a screen. So for example, I'm looking into a screen now. I'm not actually looking at a camera, but now I'm looking at the camera. So a good tip for that is you could try to remind yourself where the camera is all the time.
Okay.
For me, I'm putting 2 eyes, 2 little googly eyes.
Put sticker. Yeah.
Yeah, things like that. You just have to find a way to remind yourself where the camera is.
Okay.
Yeah, Edmund, because you're using a handphone, you cannot see yourself on the screen, right?
Right. My laptop is in the office. I will do one with the laptop. Then I will put the markers. I want to adjust it properly. I will tape it again and a couple of key things. I got it. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's move on. Dr. Garito, are you with us? Are you ready, doctor? If not, we'll get Angela to go first. Angela, are you ready for your second speech?
Is there any particular order you want them in?
Up to you. You can decide. Now we are practicing and rehearsing. You can do whichever order.
Let me just go up and see which one's which. Can you remember what I said before? Which was the humorous one?
Humorous is be a bilingual. Now I'm the bilingual queen.
Right. In case I get knocked out, yes, I can be the bilingual queen.
Are you ready? 5 to 7 minutes humorous speech contest. Angela Lansbury, the bilingual queen. The bilingual queen, Angela Lansbury. Yeah.
Hello, ni hao. Shay Shay. Oh dear, that's thank you. Don't go away, don't go away. I've got it wrong. Listen, I'm trying to be bilingual. Why am I trying to be bilingual? And why do I think you should be bilingual? For 2 good reasons. Number 1, it will extend your life, your useful life, by 5 years. 5 years? 5 years, yes. They did an experiment in America. They took a load of nuns and they compared the bilingual nuns and the ones who weren't, and they all had the same food and all the rest of it. So they were a good comparison, and bilingual ones got Alzheimer's 5 years later. Well, so what? I haven't yet got Alzheimer's, have I? Have I? Sorry, yes. No, I haven't. But you know, if I had, it would be like that all the time. My mother-in-law, poor dear, she got Alzheimer's, and she drove her son nuts because she kept repeating everything, and he has very low tolerance of being told the same thing twice. In fact, he says to me all the time, "You've told me this before, why are you telling me again?" I said, "It's a lovely day today, isn't it?" "I told you that yesterday." "Oh, I'm so sorry." No, you see, there are some people who can't tolerate even your own children could be driven mad if you got Alzheimer's. Imagine having another 5 years of being useful. And what would it do for the country if instead of having old age homes filled with people who are not able to do anything, they were all alert and out and busy and helping other people who've got Alzheimer's. So that's number one. It puts off getting Alzheimer's by 5 years, which benefits you and the country and your children, of course. Number two, it can get you out of trouble. What kind of trouble? Well, you know, I thought I was almost bilingual, and I wasn't quite. I'm reminded of the saying, learning is a dangerous thing, drink deep. I learned French at school. I did everything right. I went on holiday to France. I had an au pair girl who came and looked after my son. And then, having thought I was already completely bilingual, I went to her house and was offered some tea in France. She said, would you like some tea? Vous voulez du thé? I said, merci, thank you. And I waited for my tea and I didn't get any. And then half an hour later, she said, vous voudrez peut-être plus de thé, more tea. I said, I didn't get tea in the first place. I said it sort of politely in French. And she started a whole long conversation. Elle a dit merci, blah, 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 blah. And eventually it turns out that merci in French, thank you. Now in England, you'd say, yes, thank you, I'd like some. The French, they say thank you, and it's short for thank you, but no. So if you say merci, which is thank you, they think you don't want any. So there I was saying thank you, and I never got my tea. It could have been worse, couldn't it? Can you imagine what I could have said thank you for and not get any? It could have been a big disappointment, couldn't it? Anyway, I got my tea in the end, but I learned this lesson, which I've remembered ever since. So you really want to be bilingual, properly bilingual, know what you're talking about. Now, Singlish. People who speak Singlish think they're speaking English. And I speak British English, and I think I'm speaking perfect English. Now, I'll tell you 2 times when I was in trouble, once in Singapore and once in America. I'll start with Singapore, since some of my audience now are in Singapore, we're more interested in that. Singlish. I was at a club in a community centre, and I was being very helpful. And they said, please take this downstairs to the office. And I said, yes. And I picked everything up. And they said, and now please off the light. So I looked round and I thought, well, you know, I've got to carry off a light. And I couldn't see a table lamp anywhere. How do I off the light? And I said, where is the light? And they said, the light switch. I said, the light switch. They said, off the light. I said, you mean turn off the light? Yes, that's what I said, off the light. Oh. It sounds the same, but it's not the same. How do I know it's not the same? Because I misunderstood it. And I'm British, I speak English. And I didn't understand because it was Singlish. So you have to be careful with these little missing words like turn off the light. Turn on your microphone, not on your microphone. What, sit on it? I don't know. Singlish and English are not the same, but you've got to understand the differences. Yes, I'm working on it.
Repeats.
America. Oh, you can get very embarrassed in America. You've heard of pants? In English, pants is what you wear underneath. In America, pants are what we call trousers. I spent a whole afternoon going around saying, can you tell me where the pants are? Because my husband said he'd meet me by the pants because he was going to buy some pants. And I kept being shown where the trousers were. And my husband was really annoyed by the time he turned up, and I'd wandered all over the building looking for the pants and being sent to what the Americans call underpants. There's an even worse one. I asked if they sold any rubbers, and the lady said, you need a drugstore man. Eventually I found what I called a rubber. And I said, that's a rubber. What do you call that? She said, ma'am, that's an eraser. Oh, I said, so what did you think I meant when I said rubber? She said, something you get in the drugstore, ma'am. To Americans, a rubber is what you call a condom. Now, I think that's enough. I ought to go now, but I'll just remind you of my basic message, which is be bilingual, because it's really important for the whole country to save people getting Alzheimer's, to put it off for 5 years. This is a major health issue. It's a major financial issue. And also it will save you a lot of embarrassment in Singapore and America and France. Cheers.
Thank you, Angela. Perfect timing. 7 minutes, 13 seconds. Excellent. That's a clever play with words, Angela. I enjoy your presentation. It make me smile, make me laugh, make me recall all those experience I had as well with the improper understanding and use of the English language. So that is a little bit of a trip down memory lane for me as well. Thank you. How to make it even better? Edmund, any feedback?
I never heard you pause. Maybe you have to, when there's climax time, you pause for a while, just 2 seconds. You hold people, after pausing, you stress the message across, you pause for a while. Maybe 2 or 3 times. People will hear the message exactly going into their mind. That's all. The overall, fantastic. No issue.
Yeah.
When you say you stress a certain point on the Singlish or something message or what, then you see I'm pausing. You see, then you pause. Then people wonder what's going on. Suddenly you say, is the. Then people will remember, because by pausing, you silence. Then the message will be instilled in the mind 3 times. Because in the message 5 to 7, we always stress 3 points. So maybe you have 3 pauses, important keywords, the element. That's what I feel. Yeah.
Thank you, Edmund. Again, I want to emphasize for all of us to look at the judges' score sheet and to remind ourselves, how are we going to score those points?
Right.
Example will be body language, 10 points for that. So how are you going to score the 10 points in body language? With your eye contact, with your facial expressions, with your hands, or body movement, you got to plan to score that one. And use of props or visual aids. Right? I remember you use that rubber thing, the pencil. What other props or visual aids do you have? Are they effective? Do they add value to your speech? So those are things to consider if you want to score that 10 points. Otherwise, you'll be losing out of the point system. Okay. You run through, when you redraft the speech, go through the scoring system. Yeah. Okay, let's invite Brian to share some feedback.
Okay, Angela, that's fascinating as always. You have such wonderful ideas of putting everything into a good spin, and especially this one is a humorous speech, and I thought that I had so many laughters. I thought that means the speech is good and successful. And I thought there's a couple of things to think of, because at the beginning you thought that you said you were the bilingual queen, and I think that idea of the queen that seemed to work very well. If you are the queen for every single speech that you are attending, I think that's kind of making appetite for other things. So I thought that should be something you can think of, because if you are in that 4 speech contest and every speech you are a queen of some sort, and I thought that would be hilarious, because even though you may have, like said, you have the first category and you win or you didn't win, but people think that you're queen, and then the second speech came up in a different category, and that's, oh, this woman again, and she's talking about queen, but that's entirely different story, entirely different setup and different contents. That I think that is by itself could be something that you can think of using, because that I thought that's a brilliant idea of actually using that. And for this particular speech about the bilingual queen, and I thought that you have the 2 good reasons, and I thought the second reason seemed to be a little stronger and more funny, because you do have the episode of misunderstanding about English, that, and I thought that most of the part does work very well for this lake. But how about the first the first lake, 5-year extension of your life? I I I thought that there's less humor in there, that you could think of something to make this one also as funny, because what would be the downside of extending life for 5 years? So that's something like that. You may have to think of something funny to say over there. But I thought the second one of getting out of trouble, and in fact that getting you into trouble because of a bilingual situation. So I thought that sort of itself is wonderful and very effective. But if you wanted to make this whole thing work, you probably have to think of a few more punchlines and jokes for the first leg, the first good reason of extending the 5 years. So what are you going to do with that 5 years of extra time? Yeah.
Learn another language. Yes.
Learning language could be something else, but think about it. Yeah, because I thought there's a lot of untapped potential into the first reason that you could think of. Yeah. Otherwise, I thought that's the whole thing quite funny. Yeah, and definitely work actually giving 1 or 2 more punches at the end, and just get back to the idea of a queen and think of something that kind of wrap this whole thing up. And yeah, I totally enjoyed your speech.
Me too.
Thank you. That's perfect. You've given me the extra line. Have another 5 years, and then you can learn another language and be trilingual.
In that case, you live another 5 more years.
And then another 5 more years, and then another
language.
like that. Think about actually how to use it, right? And then you could even say that, by just adding 5 years of every language. I want to learn French. I want to learn, like different language. And you can probably live to 205 years old or something like that.
Maybe Angela, you speak the Singapore dialects, Hokkien, Teochew, or Cantonese. I'm queen. What he Wang? What he Wang? You learn 3 and then you say it in a nice way. Just joking. Okay.
Be careful, because we are dealing with international
audience.
Oh,
international cannot.
It's not a Singapore speech contest, so there are people from other countries.
Maybe you speak in French, French language, and queen or monsieur or what, something like that, or German or whatever.
Yeah, she did. She had some parts in French already.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well done.
Let us move on. Edmund, you are doing one speech on social awareness.
Yes.
How to use the positive mind, right?
No, I changed the title 3P.
3P. 3P. Okay.
P.
3P. Yeah, P. 3P.
Yeah.
Okay, are you ready? This is
3P. I'm ready. 5 to 7.
You have to time yourself because you cannot see my screen.
Yeah, how come just now Angela can see your screen?
He's using a computer. He can see my screen. You are using the
Oh.
headphone. You cannot see me.
Oh, okay. Okay, then I time myself.
Yeah, you need
Okay.
to. Are you ready to start?
Yeah, 3P. I'm ready.
3P. Okay. Contestant Edmund Chiu. 3P. 3P. Edmund Chiu. Yeah.
3P. Positive attitude, perseverance, patience. Quote by Albert Einstein. Life is like a bicycle. To keep you balanced, you must keep moving. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening, and good day. Recently, as I look around in my local country, Little Red Dot, and this current COVID world, I see many people with heads down, can't even live up. All the gloom and doom, eyes watery, a sign of sadness, depression, like the whole world is upon them. So I walk around, I can feel negative energy. So I ask myself, how can I use the 3Ps that I've been practicing ever since I walked my life into this world? 8-7. Positive attitude. What do we mean by positive attitude? How to be positive? So when I formed my company, before I formed Astrans, I had to close 13 companies. I tried 13 times, more than what Jack Ma did. And people reject me. Never mind, I tried. And those days in Singapore, ROC register a company is so easy. You cannot make it, close. So I tried. Never give up. So that was how positive I am. Even you shoot me with a bullet, I know that I get shot, but I still run through. Why? Because I will know how to avoid it. The second P is called perseverance. Many of us don't persevere. Whenever we face an issue, we face a problem, we just wash by and just never fight back. Fighting back is an art. The art of perseverance is to fight back. How we fight back? Even though you are wounded, hurt, and deep, but you must catch the opponent or opposition in the right manner and you hit him right in the nail, not by punching him. Words are much sharper than sword. So very important. I use the next word, what we call firm, F-I-R-M, in my fighting spirit whenever I have to use this. First, I fast forward. I, integrity. R, I always tell them I'm reliable. M, I'm always manageable. If people quote, undercut my price, I say, if I don't want to do the business, you have it. You come back again, no more. Quote once a day. And you think that my price is too high, you hassle again, no more. That's it. I rather don't do because I really tell you, I know the research, I know the market. I'm very firm. In my life, I reject 4 times and the 4th contract come back. So sometimes in life, we have to be firm. And the other word on patience, we have to learn to focus. The key word is focus. F, again, you fast forward. O, you observe. C, you don't compromise, you concentrate. U, you utilize all the resources around you. And S, you strategize. These are nothing new. These are from the 三国演义, China. I read a lot of Chinese history. The 三国, the 3 kingdoms, how Zhuge Liang learned these values to win a battle over your opposition without killing them and hurting them. This is called the art of Sun Tzu and also Zhuge Liang. So in a way, in life, very important, the 3 P's that help us. And I have this mantra, every morning I will always repeat it. I always tell myself, I'm a unique guy. I'm a successful guy. I'm a champion guy. And I love myself. I love my family. I love my country. and I love Mother Earth. Why? Because with gratitude, I send this Bible, positive vibration. That even I had COVID 4th time. First time was fake, a free holiday. Second time, okay. Third time was negative, but still okay. Fourth time, almost okay. Now okay. So I'm all right now. So back to you. 3P.
Thank you. 4 minutes, 55 seconds, Edmund.
Hey. Oh, that means my, my watch is that means my watch is out of position. Okay, okay.
Correct or not? You check your watch.
Yeah, yeah. Should be. I thought should be 5 minutes. But...
Yeah, it's about 5 minutes.
Oh, okay, okay.
But you have 7 minutes. You must make.
Yeah.
You are now
Yeah,
under time. You
Under time.
disqualified.
Okay, got it.
Okay, so
Under
that's the first thing. Always stick within the time allowed. That's a very basic thing.
Got it.
I like your speech, Edmund, because this is, you speak with a lot of conviction. You believe, right? You can remember those stuff. You speak very well, and I like it because of that. What area I don't like, or what area I feel I would do differently, you have too many points, I feel, for me to remember. You got acronym for focus, for firm, for a few other things. And because there are so many points, I'm having difficulty catching up, trying to remember what you told me, right?
Okay.
If I can, I would prefer you to tell me stories, right? 3 stories will be ideal. And 3 stories can be different ways to just tell us about importance of having positive mental attitude, for example. Instead of positive mental attitude, perseverance, patience, focus, and things like that, because there are many points. If you just pick any one of them, there's enough content for a speech, rather than so many points, but then you're skipping over.
What kind of story example? And say, give me some gist so
Okay.
that I can go and think out of the
Okay, if you, because
positive attitude.
your speech is social awareness,
Mm.
right? Social awareness, you ask yourself, what is the problem today? What is the problem that plague our society today, right? So if you think of problem of anxiety, fear, that kind of problem that is plaguing because of the economy, because of the tension, then you think of stories about what you do, your own experience, and how you overcome this fear, how you overcome anxiety, right? Because you have failed many times. You have closed down 18 or how many companies?
13 companies.
And you know you never die from failing in business. So if as long as you're alive, what is there to fear? You can always try again, for example. That could be one example, right? Then the same thing about positive mental attitude could be maybe your family, your mother, your father, your brother, sister story, right? You can tell story about things that you have seen, you have experienced. Then you can transfer the emotion to us. Yeah, so I think just on this one topic, I felt it's much better than so many points I'm trying to remember.
Yeah. Because I couldn't think of story, so I had to put. Now you open up, I know how to find content. Right. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
That's the purpose of us all sharing.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Okay, let's get some feedback from Brian then.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with Bumpen. There's way too many things in there, but at the same time, you are a little short at 4 minutes 30 seconds. That means that you talked so many things, but you didn't go very deep enough.
Detail,
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought that's because you have so much experience, so many stories. You definitely have to think about how to tell story in a completeness, because every story material, but you didn't actually go into that. that
That,
much. Yeah. But I thought of one thing. It's you talk about Albert Einstein and the bicycle, right? So the bicycle, what do you mean by bicycle? You have two wheels, but now you have 3P. You have one extra one.
Actually, the bicycle, my mind was to talk about the bicycle story. I got a bicycle story, but I was confused in the sense. So because I only look at the positive mindset, so I just quote it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Great,
I
great.
thought
Yeah.
you could use it because there's two wheels, but now you have three. How do you say that in a way that you
Yeah.
could make a little fun, like a
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
out there.
I got
Yeah.
you. I got you. Yeah.
Okay, so
Great.
that would work, and yeah, and this, yeah, I think the structure is there. Just that you just have to work out more details because it's a little shorter and it's not very clear what those stories and things mean by the 3P. Because you have that title, you have said a little bit on everything, but just give an example, a story as an example of how each one of the P's have changed you or help you in any way. Yeah, that'll be fantastic then.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks.
Great, great.
Eye-opening for me tonight, bumping.
Yeah.
Really, because sometimes when you have too much of everything, it didn't really get. I only know three things only, but sometimes when we forget three things, we end up 3 by 3 by 3, 9, and then you confuse the people. So that's why storytelling is an art.
Yeah.
So I got to drive more, like what you call in-depth, like piling and that. So I will practice again and I will script out and then a couple of key things. So thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We are learning together. That's
So
very
our club is 39 Singapore. I have to link up. I might have an issue of linking. I'll contact you again.
I will give you the link to register your name because you got to be officially on the register as a member.
I know.
Okay. Angela,
Yes.
are you
Start-
ready?
Sorry, I need to start my
Okay.
day of working, so I'll come in a few minutes.
Okay.
Brian, what time is it now in USA? What time is it in USA now?
Almost 9 a.m. So,
Which part of USA are you in?
I'm in the East Coast.
Oh, East Coast. Okay,
Near
okay.
New York.
Oh, then New
Yes.
York, huh?
Yeah.
Is everything all okay there? Is everything all right? I see some.
Everything is okay over here. In fact, there's almost no COVID. At least nobody care about COVID anymore over here. Everybody's out there. Everything looks normal. But one serious problem we have in New York, this area, is the inflation. The inflation has been crazy
Sky high.
because yesterday I went to buy a lunch. I like oxtails, so I went to buy a box of oxtail, and it ended up to be $33.
Wow.
And I was with that because I haven't visited that restaurant for over 2-3 years because of COVID, and now I went there and the price has almost doubled.
My goodness.
Yeah, because I used to get away with a $15 meal, but now it's 33 and it's over 100% increase. So yeah, that's crazy over here.
Okay, Brian, I have to tell you another sad story. Next few more months, inflation is going to go sky high. My Europe friend has been telling me all the prices of even food, oil, and everything. Not only in USA, the whole world is going up triple-fold in the next few months. So if you can, in your backyard, you can get some seedlings, those that vegetable that you can, like my friends, you start planting and get.
But I could collect the wild vegetable because I live in a townhouse community. I couldn't do anything about my yard. Everything outside is controlled by the association. So I
get some wild chickens or wild boar and then put them on and then feed them. So if you shortage your food, at least you are well taken care. That's what my friend in Philippines and Indonesia do that now because it's very hard and we just got the recent swine flu and the message came in bumping today from the news. the pork price has gone sky high again.
Right,
And
right.
yeah, the rice and the thing. Just be careful. Times are we call it is not the time for
I
everything,
think
but
easier if you stock out some canned food, you know, because if the
no,
price
but
is
canned
going
food you got to see the timeline and also the what they call it the expiry date.
expiry date. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we better let Brian get on with his day job.
Oh, sorry.
Otherwise you have to go to find another job.
Hey,
Okay,
Brian,
thank-
sorry. What's your profession, Brian?
It's complicated, but now I'm leading a group of people working on a new eye care medicine. So a drug called Eylea. It's treating diabetic macular
Oh.
degeneration and other eye disease for old people and diabetic people. And this is a drug that sells for about $8 billion a year.
wow.
My
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah. So
Brian is a scientist.
yeah,
So
I'm
you are in the wellness food and everything.
Pharmacist.
wellness and food and everything. And then
Yeah.
just
Okay. Just to give you some info, our current Singapore government here, we are looking for people like you. Why? Because we are developing these what we call medical food and everything. We have about 30-40 million factory that create a vegan meat in Tampines. Just
Vegetables.
mention that vegetables and meat, no, vegan meat, pork and beef and everything. Then we have in Tuas West, we have all the medical pharmaceutical company and so if you can, if there is such, because I'm in the logistics, I do logistics, so I move around, I know. So this is the place that Singapore want to make, government want to make it a medical hub. So this is a very good place, and your qualification fit in. I'm telling you. You can be consultant sitting in New York and at the same time do something over here, so that then you can get things done. Today is borderless world.
Yeah,
right?
I know. That's why I started going to Asia a little more and started my home in Taiwan. I started trying to line up my second career after retire from US companies. So I have something to do in Asia, and definitely Singapore is a great place
You're
to.
Taiwanese, right? You're Taiwanese.
Yeah, I'm
Taiwan. Taiwan.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought you are Honky.
And well, I'm very close to Hong Kong because some of my mentors live in Hong Kong and it's but I try to think that Cantonese it's the same language, but it's a different language as well.
Yeah. Because I had one of my friend professor, he's in the chip business, in the chip IP. So he frequent Taiwan and he's working in a public listed company. He's also like you. So if by chance, if he often flew down to US and Taiwan, if by chance, but he's a non public speaker. So the way they present the speeches, sometimes you don't feel like understanding, but if they know the way who we are, we can present it, the chip become very nice to hear, and people the stock market will go up. So it's all about how presentation. Yeah. Anyway, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you, Brian. Appreciate your help. Thank you.
Yeah.
Have
good
a
night.
good day, Brian. Not good night.
Thank you for your
good
help.
day. Good day.
Yeah.
Okay. 再见. Thanks, Angela and Bumping. Yeah.
Don't thank yet because Angela got one more speech. Angela is going to tell us her next speech, the Queen of Good Grammar.
Oh, hang on. Which speech was that?
That is an educational speech. 8 to 10 minutes. Queen of Good Grammar. No, do you want to take a break? We can continue another day.
No,
continue almost late.
I just planned out my speech and it was totally different.
Okay. 8 to 10. Okay.
8 to 10 minutes. I'll leave it to you to introduce which topic. What topic do you want to call it?
Sorry, the educational speech.
Yeah, good grammar.
I didn't think I could make a proper speech out of good grammar. I just didn't think it made a speech. It was an educational, but it wasn't a entertaining speech.
No,
Okay.
educational, not entertaining.
Yes, but
Educational.
it's a lecture on grammar. It's
More important is to can be a lecture. It can be engaging, and then there are learning points. What difference would it make to the people if they listen to you, for example? Right? Because educational speech, there are certain requirements. Let me look.
okay. I'll combine it with what I was going to say before. With
Or
my
you want to
right
do
speech.
a storytelling instead.
Yeah, I could start with storytelling then, and then go back to the other one. Okay,
Yeah.
storytelling.
Okay.
Write a life story.
A writer's life, right? A writer's life story.
Yes.
Okay. So I will do the timing 8, 9, 10 for you. Would that be fine?
Yes, thank
Are
you.
you okay? Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, next contestant for the storytelling contest. Angela Lansbury. The topic is a writer's life story. A writer's life story. Angela Lansbury.
My dear friends, have you written your life story yet? If not, why not? There is a saying in the wine trade, the best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The second best time is today. And that is very much what I think about writing your life story. Now, you might want to have a 5-year diary, which is a very popular idea nowadays. If you go onto Amazon, you'll find loads of them. And they give you different ways of making a record. You might have my favorite food, my favorite song, my favorite quotation, and put them down each day and compare over 5 years how things have changed. Let me give you some examples of how things have changed. I look back at a diary I wrote as a child when I went on a skiing holiday. I wrote down what we did and what we ate. It's extremely dull. However, one thing was very striking. I talked about putting on my leather skiing boots and doing up the laces. That is totally different to nowadays when you have solid boots, absolutely rigid boots so that you can't fall over, and you don't do up laces. You have something that you snap shut. At the time when I wrote about doing up my leather boots and the laces, I had no idea that that would be significant to me more than 40 years later. And you have no idea how the little things you write about now, which seem quite insignificant, might be important later. Even, for example, what you're eating. What do you eat for breakfast? Now, I was listening to somebody talking just now. I mean, I remember when I was a child, we had the standard English breakfast. Most English people would have porridge, which has salt, which has sugar on it. But when you go on holiday to Scotland, you find they put salt, not sugar, on their porridge. And when you come to Asia, they don't use salt or sugar. They put fish in it and leftover meat and vegetables. Completely different. So the things that you do, which you think are just ordinary, can turn out to be quite extraordinary when time goes past or when you change country. So I recommend that you keep a diary, even if you only write one sentence in quite ordinary things. Now, I have two kinds of diaries. I have a book called Our Family Tree. I've made one of these I made one of these for my son when he was born. I was sitting in my hospital bed, and along comes the trolley, and the lady has a book to sell you, inexpensive book, which is history of my baby, and you'd put in its weight and its eye color and its whether it's got hair and if you're breastfeeding or not, and you put in the little family tree, the parents' names and the grandparents' names. If you're lucky, you can ask your parents their grandparents' names, which is not so significant at the time. But when you get to the age I am now, which is over 70, to know from your grandparents what their grandparents' names were, that is really handy for my grandchild to know her grandmother's grandmother's name. Wouldn't that be fantastic? So do it now and don't wait. Recently, I thought of looking back at my parents' lives. My mother had died, and I thought if only I had asked her, you know, where did she meet my father? What did she do? How did this happen? How did that happen? Fortunately, I had written a book called My Secret Life Revealed, a book which hasn't sold to anybody. It's got one copy to me, and this is the most useful book I've ever published. It has in it things that I look for now, such as what was the date of my first job? Now that I'm retired and people say, you know, what was your first job? The name of the company was, what was it called? It was near that station. What was the name of the station? I can't remember any of these things, but they're in my book. Then let me tell you something else I did that was absolutely fascinating. We were looking for something to make or to give to my mother-in-law for her 90th birthday. And I was looking at my book on my life. I went out and tried to find her. What could I buy her? Champagne, but she was taking pills and couldn't drink champagne. What could I get her? And I looked at my book and I thought, I can make a book about her life story. She hasn't got it, has she? No, it'd be new. How do I get the facts? Very simple. Every Sunday night, my father and my husband's mother and my husband and I would go out for dinner. We'd take the old folks out for their meal. They were both widowed or widower. And then I said to my mother-in-law, where were you at school and what did you do at school? Oh, she said something. Off she went. And then the next week I said, what did you do when you left school? Oh, she said, and off she went again. Then I said to her, what work did your mother do? Oh, my mother worked in a shop and I used to, off she went again. This went on and I didn't let her know what I was doing. I would sneak off to the ladies' toilet. I'd write it down quickly in pencil. Then when I got home, I would type it up. And then at the end of the year, I had a book. It wasn't a very long book, but I had a page for each section of her life, and I interleaved it with pictures. And she was astonished. She said, where did you get all this information? I said, from you.
Wow.
Of course, after that, a year or two later, she got Alzheimer's. She lived to the age of 99, but the last 5 years, she couldn't remember anyone. Well, she could remember things from the past, but I was never sure if they were true. But I had this magic book, which I have now for my granddaughter, of her grandmother, her great-grandmother's life story. So that's something you can do as a gift for your elderly people and as a gift for your grandchild. My grandchild doesn't know this exists. She barely recognizes me, her grandmother. She doesn't yet speak English. She doesn't speak anything. But one day she will inherit my books about my life and my mother's life and her grandmother's life. Could you do that for your children? Wouldn't that be the great thing for them to have one day, the story of their life and how it all happened? Now, at the front of my book, I have a series of quotations. I have a quotation from every main character in my life, my friends, my parents. And when I'm thinking, perhaps, you know how you think about your parents, you think that the day they died, then you think, I'm something more cheerful. So I open my book and I look at the jokes they made and the funny things they said and their happiest memories. And I wash out all the sadness with these happy memories. So that's what I recommend you do. Write the story of your life. It will be the best book, the most entertaining book that you will ever read, and the best book you can give to your family, your children, and your grandchildren. Thank you.
Wow, Angela, I love this the best. I was totally absorbed into your world. 9 minutes, 30 seconds exactly. So perfect timing as well. I enjoy your story. The quality of a good story is when we are all absorbed into your world. We are following you every step of the way. And I think you did so well, Angela. I really enjoyed this speech. I've never been absorbed so deeply into anybody else's speech until your speech. It's really good. It just flow very well. What I would recommend you do is polish it up. I'm sure there are room for improvement. Look at the again the judges score sheet and make sure every single area you score all the points. This time you spoke without wearing your glasses, right? It's good. It's good. And are you really over 70 years old?
Yes.
Wow, I wasn't expecting that. No, that is really good. That's really
I shouldn't
good.
have told you.
No, when you remember when we were growing up, we think of somebody over 70-year-old as a bald-headed, without the teeth, without right?
I'm keeping hold of my teeth.
You recycled your teeth. I remember that one. No, but really, you don't fit the picture of a 70-year-old person in my mind. So it's really good. I'm really glad you delivered this speech. There's really a lot of jewels in there. Especially, I like the part where how you get the information from your whoever. Is that your auntie?
My mother-in-law.
Your mother-in-law, right? I thought that was really good. And we can apply the same thing to all our friends, right? And then we can write the book of their life for them. I thought it's really, really very special idea. I can even write my own story based on the model that you have. It's really good. Well done. Excellent idea.
Okay, any improvements?
Actually, I don't have any idea for improvement because I was totally flowing with you. I wasn't thinking critically or analytically in any way. So that's how good the story was. I was spellbound.
So was the call to action clear enough then?
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Edmund, any idea
Yes.
for improvement?
Overall, though I was sleepy, I heard the speech and a couple of key things. The part on your mother, you must feel emotionally like lost. because when you talk about your mom, thing, I was seeing you still laughing away. So because it reminds me when you talk about mom, I was very sad also in a way. So if you could just memory of those folks that is not around, you evoke emotion, maybe emotion that can be kind of a sadness or just like pauses. The whole overall thing, all are there, Angela. You are there. You are there.
So you're saying that I must be careful not to let other people get sad.
Yeah, not say
think-
sad. When you talk about the sadness part, you just silent and then feel that 1 second. Then your eyes, you feel emotion. Because this body language is important. I'm good in that. I tell you, I practice. I will show you sometimes. Then when you're happy, you join, you express your full expression. Then you go flow with your content, your story. The story, no problem. Excellent. The emotion.
Right.
Because I only catch you the part. When I saw you that part attracts me, and then you were the part. So I was feeling sad, but you wasn't feeling sad.
Okay.
I empathize. Yeah.
And Angela, I felt I understand what Edmund is expressing. That means your body language is not consistent with the emotions of the story. So when he
Right.
expect you to be sad, you didn't look like you were sad. Right. So I felt no, that's very important. I didn't pick that up because I was just listening to your story.
Because you know why? At the point of time, I was looking for the portion, but then you miss that thing. So this also very important because emotion you make the judge feel that your speech is so much already. Then his mind is all there.
You mean it's more sincere if I look upset when describing?
Yeah. When you talk about your secret book, your life, and this and that, you talk about your this and that. So that was the time that you slowly express then you get the emotion inject into the audience, and people will feel kind of, even the goosebumps will come out, and then they feel that I empathize, I understand. So that is the feeling. That's all on the overall. Two thumbs up.
I think so. For Angela and Edmund, I'm running out of time. Angela, I'm running out of time, so I want to give one feedback that applies to both of you, universal, triggered by the word Edmund used, which is emotion. You are going to draft your speech, right? Now, I want you to do one additional step after you have drafted your speech. I want you to plan the emotional timeline. Okay, each sentence and each paragraph you write have a column next to it where you write down what emotion you want to express, and then what emotion you want the audience to feel. For example, in the opening, how do you want the audience to feel? Do you want them to feel excited? Do you want them to feel very curious? Do you want them to feel shock or anxiety or something, right? To capture their attention. What do you want them to feel? It must be a very deliberate act in your speech. And each time you tell the story, ask yourself, what do I want this person to feel? Do I hit?
Okay, I demonstrate to you, Angela. I demonstrate to you the shock. Okay. My boss came to my office one day, say, Edmund, company has lost money. We need to inject money. Either you pump in or out you go. How I feel? I was devastated. That was the time that I never answered him, grabbed my bag, drive my car, go straight to the Tuas end, west side of Singapore, look at the sky, and stay there for 1 hour. Never point blank. A friend, a partner, 20 years old friend said that to me. How you feel? You feel the emotion? That drives me today. It's a true story. I got him what he meant. If we can put it like this, then that is the best time. Now I tell you of another one. When I was with the American company, 1987, I was marked every day. I was a king in the company. The American boss never liked me. Edmund, I don't care how or what. This is the tender envelope. You take your car. Now the time is 11:30. You drive like a Ferrari driver or Lamborghini driver. You deliver by half an hour, 12 o'clock to town for this tender. If you don't deliver, the envelope don't reach there 12 o'clock, don't ever come back. Don't ever come back. You hear that? Don't ever come back. Because of that, I had an accident. My car went turtle. I broke my tooth. I almost died. And they lost the contract, $8 million. Of all the person, he picked me, 11:30 at the day, and give me half an hour from Changi end to the south, which is 1.5 hours. How to make it? But because somebody said the wrong thing to him, then 1 year later, he called me. I'm sorry about the incident. I said, I don't know who you are. I've forgotten really. I almost died. So these are the kind of emotion that we went through. So I understand. So something of this nature. Maybe when you say, my secret, my mom. I can understand. Just a simple gesture, you can feel already the emotion. That would be perfect for your complete speech tonight.
Angela,
That's what I feel.
Angela and Edmund, try to have negative emotion, making people sad, depressed, upset, whatever, and also have contrasting emotion where they feel joy, they feel hopeful, they feel so.
Okay.
Right?
I give you one joy punch. Year 2003, I was handpicked for an award called Spirit of Enterprise. 38 enterprise, small and medium enterprise came in. I was the supposed to be out, not into the contest, but the guy said, this guy got a good track record. Why not we try? So I start to tell them in a rough way the story, how I built up the company. And they wasn't convinced. So they go on a betting. So I came, he went into internet betting. I was the first, one and only one. He's recorded Spirit of Enterprise because I brought the Christmas tree, 70 foot. It was recorded in the Singapore Books of Record. Nobody ever brought that one. I went to hell and fire. The people look down. Who is Astrans? Never in Singapore. I got to see Mr. Huang Teng Ang, SIA executive. They say, Edmund, that cargo plane cost $500 million. If anything happened to you, you'll be inside Changi prison. I went with the mind. I says, my track records during my term with the German company, I do for the Sultan of Brunei. The whole cargo plane are full of Ferrari, worth more than 50, 100 million. Your Christmas tree is less than 1 million. So what are you talking about? They are not convinced. They asked me to fly to USA, and the engineer say, who are you? I never heard of you. When I say I used to work for John C. Emery, American company, we chartered planes and then they say, let's see how. And during that flight, year 2000, SQ-6, the plane that crashed in Taiwan, are supposed to be on the flight. So now I got the story coming, climax.
Yeah. That will be an interesting story.
Yeah.
You can do storytelling, Edmund. Do the story.
Okay. So thank you already. I enjoyed the last moment of 2 hours. Bumping, it's
you
been a
very
long
much.
time. It's been a long time. Even in Toastmasters, we really don't have a concrete evaluation. People just say like this, like that. They never explain why. Then I always acronym. I'm a man of acronym, but we want to cut short. 2 acronym, express, story. That's it. Evoke emotion.
Right. Okay, we are running out of time, Angela. I cannot do another speech because I got to go to another meeting at 9:30. So
Are you free later this evening? When does the meeting end?
I cannot. No, we can do another few days later. We can fix a time. I think it's important to keep on polishing. We don't have to do it all in one day. We can do like every 2 days, 3 days. We can meet again. Okay, but now you have time.
Do a video lah. Video.
No, we will record. No, I'll put this on a YouTube. You can watch this again.
Oh, okay.
You can watch this and then you can rethink about the how to improve. Okay. So thank you very much, Edmund. Thank you, Angela.
Bumping, you are our Agora AI. I'm going to create a humorous joke on Agora AI. Who is the Agora AI in our club?
ChatGPT Bumping.
Dr. Gay.
Okay, I've got to go now. I'm starting another meeting.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Angela. I think you got a good speech coming up, and Edmund too. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Good night.
Bye-bye.
Good night. Bye bye.